The Buffalo Bills just dominated the Patriots during their wild card game. The Bills won 47-17. They led at halftime 27-3. I actually kind of made a joke. I was like, hey, it's a good thing you got your extra point blocked because you wouldn't want to lead the Patriots 28-3 because we all know what happened when Atlanta led the Patriots 28-3. No, but for real, the minute the Patriots went down 20-0, extra point blocked or not, I'm like, this game's over. I went, oh my gosh, the way the Bills are moving the ball and what the Patriots have done so far, I mean, it was very clear early on. I got this game totally wrong. Believe it or not, I predicted the Patriots to win, and I thought it would be a close game. And both were like way off. It was not a close game, and Buffalo won by a lot. They put up 7 touchdowns in one game. Just bang, bang, bang. Didn't have to kick a field goal the entire time. I really did believe that the Patriots defense was going to challenge Josh Allen. And I even said that Josh Allen would struggle to throw the football. I blamed the cold, but I thought the Patriots defense would have something to do with that. Here's the reality. Josh Allen did not struggle at all. Josh Allen was 21 for 25 passing for 308 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and he had 0 turnovers. By the way, he also ran for like 66 yards rushing. It's crazy to me. And again, I really did think that the Patriots defense was going to challenge him a little bit. This is the 3rd time they've played him this year. I'm like, hey, they got a lot of film on the guy. They know what to expect from Josh Allen. Plus, it's the cold. For some reason, I'm like, oh, the cold will impact Josh Allen. So wrong. I'm so wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. It was total domination from the Buffalo Bills. It was unbelievable. And by the way, Josh Allen keeps having games like this where, and this is happening more and more. I think back to, week 5 when they beat Kansas City, or week 12. Those are 2 of the best games of the year from Josh Allen. And these insane performances Josh Allen's putting together are getting more and more common. And it's eventually going to elevate, because as this happens more and more frequently, where he's really efficient, making high-level throws and doing crazy stuff with his arm and with his legs and just putting up highlight-level plays constantly. But it's not just the highlights, because if you're really talented, you could put up good plays, but it's the level of consistency where you got 4 incompletions and throw for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, that's a different kind of day. That's an Aaron Rodgers level day. That's when you start getting talked about as not just a great quarterback. And Josh Allen's a great young quarterback, but we're getting close to the territory where we should probably be saying Josh Allen's an elite quarterback. We're getting really close to that because his consistency level is what's going through the roof, and it's crazy. Look, I'm not going to lie. The Patriots and Bill Belichick were eliminated, and I'm sad we're not going to get to see Bill versus Brady in the Super Bowl. However, we might get to see the Bills against Brady in the Super Bowl. We'll see how the Eagles game goes. I don't think that Philadelphia is going to knock Tom Brady out of the playoffs, although crazier things have happened. But imagine getting to see Bills Mafia against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That would be awesome. It'd be kind of like watching 2 old rivals meeting again. The Bills and their old rival, the Patriots. And by the way, I had this crazy thought. Think about this. I've really thought that Tom Brady had benefited the most from Tom Brady leaving the Patriots and going to Tampa. But I'm starting to think that on top of Tom Brady really benefiting from that move, clearly Buffalo also really benefited from that move. They won the division now twice since Tom Brady left. Both years since he's been gone. And I believe they beat the Patriots now 4 times, which is more than maybe they ever beat Tom Brady. It's crazy what's going on. I mean, think of the opportunity that has been afforded to Buffalo now that Tom Brady's gone and the Patriots dynasty is weakened and the Bills are peaking at the right time. And I don't really know what's going to happen on the road to the Super Bowl, who's going to make it, who's not. But if Buffalo makes it, and I'll be very happy. I really like what they're doing. I fear they're going to lose their offensive coordinator, Brian Dable, after this year. And so for him to get kind of one final shot with his team and get the unfinished business finished and try to win a Super Bowl in Buffalo, that would be really, really cool. And by the way, if Buffalo does not win a Super Bowl, which would be heartbreaking, they lost 4 in a row in the 90s. But can you imagine the only thing worse than Buffalo losing another Super Bowl is if they lost another Super Bowl to Tom freaking Brady? Can you imagine the hate, anger, and sadness that would come out of Buffalo? Of course, Tom Brady once again. Can you imagine that? I kind of can't, but it would be crazy. Also, like, I wish I could tell you, here's the reason why the Patriots lost to Buffalo. But look, when you lose 47-17, it's a long list. Like, the Patriots got dominated by one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Josh Allen. And there was a moment where I thought this was going to be a great game. There's a moment where the Bills were up 7-0, and the Patriots got the ball for the first time, and the Patriots were driving, and there was like a 3rd and 14 where Mac Jones extended a play. He never runs ever, but he rolled right, extended a play, threw to Hunter Henry for 31 yards, and later on a 3rd and 10, Mac Jones ran for a first down, and you're like, hey, Mac Jones is stepping up. It's going to be a different kind of game. Back and forth, 2 offenses trading blows, and then Mac threw the ball to the end zone. Micah Hyde picked it off, and the Bills took the ball from there, got a 14-0 lead. Patriots got the ball again. They punted. Bills score again. They're up 20-0. And by the time it was 20-0, I'm just like, it's over. I really, at the pace that the Bills are scoring at will on this defense in New England, my gosh. I mean, look, the Patriots did score twice in the second half. They tried, and really, you got to give a lot of credit to New England because when you're down, 47-10, what's the incentive to keep fighting? But for their pride, they really just kept going, and until the very end, New England was giving it everything they had, which you have to respect and admire. But this was all Buffalo, and there's not much more to be said. Like, I could go around in circles going like, oh, but the reality is the Patriots got their butts kicked. And I got to say, I would imagine that Bills fans are incredibly happy. Not only because you won a playoff game at home, but you did it against your bitter old rival, the Patriots, who, by the way, the Patriots for years, they may not have Tom Brady anymore, but that's still the same dang fan base and people that have talked smack to us for year after year after year. And finally, the Bills got their revenge, beat them in the playoffs, knocked them out. And I can only imagine that not only was it great to win a playoff game, but for Bills fans, it was a little bit better because it was against the Patriots.